Hey, thanks for having me. Good to hear from you.
Nice to see you and hear from you again. Thank you for joining us for health, wellness, and lifestyle. And nobody gets it more. You're one of the people that gets it the most here on Long Island. And you've always felt, and you've had that pulse on the heartbeat of Long Island in our community. So I'm so happy and grateful to be here with you today. You've been doing a lot of wonderful, great things. I want to talk about it, but I definitely want to talk about the new initiative with the bill you're putting together, which I think is pretty important and crucial and essential.
Absolutely. Well, I'll say first of all, of course, thank you for having me to talk about this subject because it's near and dear not only to my heart but everyone's heart. Because if you step outside your house, it's very likely you'll see a pair of used masks or gloves just thrown on the ground. I decided to file this bill because I was at the supermarket and I basically saw in the parking lot, I saw a young essential worker picking up the gloves and masks from other shoppers who just carelessly threw it on the ground. So I thought it was just a quality of life issue. But if you do more research, depending on weather conditions, the virus can live on those used gloves and masks for up to 5 days. So nowhere in America is it acceptable for your actions to endanger the life of another citizen's actions. Doing more research. So again, you're endangering someone else's health. Essential workers are more often than not picking up the gloves and masks. So you're endangering the life of the essential workers who we need to keep the system running. If you speak to environmentalists, marine life are attracted and can often eat and ingest those chemicals from those gloves and masks. So you're harming our environment, and it's a quality of life issue because we have beautiful parks and beaches here. The last thing you want to see is a used pair of gloves and masks. So I filed this bill. Essentially what it does is the county currently has littering laws specifically for county property. So if you're in a county park or a county beach, you throw those gloves or masks down and you litter them, we can fine you. But once you leave that county property, it's up to the towns and the villages. And look, quite frankly, everyone is busy, but just to be honest here, the towns have not been enforcing the littering laws. If they had been, we wouldn't be talking about this issue. So what my law does is it extends the county littering law to anywhere in the county, specifically including gloves and masks, for as long as the declaration of disaster is in effect. And I'm hoping we'll pass it here in Nassau. I'm hoping they'll pass it in Suffolk, and I'm hoping it'll make a difference.
I don't even know where to begin. I mean, I can tell you myself when we first going out to the markets, when this even first happened, right? And I'm seeing people, it wasn't a whole lot at that time, in the shopping carts, on the floor. I'm talking about just the supermarket, the gloves, the mask. Going to CVS, the gloves and the mask. And now, fast forward, how many weeks we've been home and being compliant, and you're still, and it's quadrupled. It's become insane.
Well, to your point, so I often debate with my colleagues that the status quo is not a solution. Doing nothing is not a solution. Saying we already have littering laws on the books is not a solution. The problem has persisted. As more and more people will leave their houses using gloves and masks, as these stay-at-home orders are slowly lifted, not only will the problem persist, it will be exacerbated. Because for the first time in a century, the civilian everyday use of PPE is commonplace and quite frankly not going away anytime soon. So I feel, and my philosophy on governing is if you have a solution, try it. And channel FDR when he said, try an idea. If it fails, admit it frankly and try another one. But overall, don't be afraid to try. And I'm hoping this will look to alleviate this problem.
Well, he was definitely an inspiration.
For sure.
Someone that people modeled on after, and you have become quite an inspiration. I'm hoping that this, that people start to abide, and it's nothing. You're not asking them to do something that's so complicated. I mean, it's literally, instead of discarding on the floor, there's God knows there's so many garbage cans. Very easy, because you're doing you're not doing a disservice to yourself and to all the other factors. You see how in a multi-level, how it really affects things with just, you're taking off those gloves and that mask and just throwing it on the floor or in a shopping cart. And we as Long Islanders, especially from Nassau to Suffolk, all Long Island, we're proud of Long Island,
That's right.
But we need to, it's great to see it needs to start somewhere.
That's right. And what I'll say to your point is that during the worst of times, we see the best of humanity, right? So we've seen healthcare workers go above and beyond the call to duty. Essential workers bravely, whether it's grocery workers, transit operators, keeping the trains and the systems running, we've seen individuals become heroes in society. However, we have also seen the worst of society, We have seen price gouging and hoarding of essential items. We've seen scams increasing and preying on senior citizens. And quite frankly, this juxtaposition between good and bad has seldom been more clear when it comes to throwing the mask on the ground. At the end of the day, your individual actions matter. And again, as I said previously, nowhere in America is it tolerated for your actions to endanger the life of someone else. So I'm hoping this law does two things. Number one, I'm hoping it raises awareness that the gloves and the masks can spread the virus, and it's not just littering. By the way, littering in any form is unacceptable, but it's not just littering, it's public health. And number two, I hope that we hold people accountable, because at the end of the day, this is not going away anytime soon. And I refuse to live in a county where I walk out my door and I see this plight. I refuse, and I want to do everything in my power to stop it.
Well, Josh, we're very lucky and fortunate to have you as a staple in our community, as a leader, and as an inspiration, but also as a front runner to really start making a difference and doing something about this. So we're really fortunate. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yes, thank you. Well, listen, it's my honor to serve. Thank you for your support since I'm a teenager, and I have the greatest job in the world, so it's my pleasure.
No, and keep us posted. We want to do whatever we can to help and support with this bill, with bringing more attention and awareness. Whatever we need to do, we'll be right there behind you, supporting you, and following through with everything you're doing. Thank you, Josh. Thank you for joining us today.
Never in doubt, Fay. Thank you.
Thanks.